Hello, Gabriel.
Hello, Martina. You have been on a feelings practitioner lab last weekend, and so it's Tuesday morning right now. We are recording on Tuesday morning because you had a long way to go back to your island yesterday.
Yeah.
And my question is, on this lab, or like from my experience on the lab, there's usually something that you take with. It's like the most impactful thing somehow, the distinction or something that somehow built something in you the most. And my question is, what was that for this lab?
Well, good question, because it's so clear for me what the answer is. Yeah, I had lots of processes about my sexual abuse when I was 2 years old, and I was working a lot on that and in the last years. And there was one process with a coach, and at the end of the process, he said to me, when the old sentence was lying on the table, this old sentence of my life, and this old sentence was, to be touched is a lie. Touch is a lie. That was my old sentence. And when this sentence was lying on the table in this process, he said to me, the coach said to me, we are not going to make a new sentence now. It's not the time to make a new sentence. And what my eyes made out of that was, you are a hopeless case. I cannot really help you. You are a hopeless case. And I took that with me for about 1 year. And in the lab, in the last week in the lab, I've thrown that sentence. I did that away, and my new sentence is, I am healing. That is my new sentence. I am healing. And that shifted so much in me. I felt joy. I felt real joy inside of my bodies. And yeah, that was for the first time that I felt this joy inside of my body, that I was not only playing it, because when I was working with my joy in former times, for me it felt like, okay, play the joy until you feel it. And that didn't happen. That shift from playing to really feel didn't happen. I was just playing, pretending that I feel joy. And now I really felt this joy, about 30%. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah.
Wow, thank you. It's like the first time you experienced joy.
Yeah, for the first time that I experienced joy in connection with in connection with this whole story of my life. Yeah. And at the lab, I was not working on that sexual abuse. I had no process about that. I had a process about my mother, a big process about my mother, and that pretending that everything's okay, pretending that life is my life is okay, and I'm good, and I'm feeling happy, and the family is well, the job is well, everything is well, I'm healthy. This pretending to be something in the outside, and inside it's completely rotten and stinky and faul und verschimmelt. Yeah, this. And all pretending until the dying day, when always pretending that everything's okay. Even when it's time to die, to pretend that everything's okay and will be fine. Wow, that's what I took over from my mother, this pretending. There was lots of of anger and sadness, deep sadness, deep sadness. And the interesting thing that was that this sadness was lying under the anger. I always thought I'm such an angry person. I was so connected with my anger the whole time. And now the shift of anger went away, and under this anger was such a big, deep sea of sadness. So much sadness.
Thank you. Do you think that like not showing the real you has to be pretending?
Yes.
And even if it's unconscious?
What I hear in your question is to pretend to be somebody else. This.
I mean, who is me and who is somebody else? There's a whole different question. I know people who somehow they really live in this world where everything is okay, where everything's fine, they're happy and they're living their life, and oh no, that's okay. And like they're really there. They don't want to have anything that rips them out of that because they are fine with that. It's like their box is built so perfectly that they somehow everything is okay, which is also some sort of pretending for me, but they're not conscious about it. So that's why I ask if you think that every time if this would be also pretending to be someone else, even when it's unconscious.
I only get pictures about your question. And the picture is if this layer of pretending that my life is okay is just a layer, and under that layer is a rotten thing, then it's bullshit for me. It's bullshit. And I also know some people that have that was heißt Einstellung? That say, and they are conscious about that. Perhaps it's a question of conscious or unconscious. I know people, or I've read books of people that have the conscious attention, Einstellung, that everything's okay. And there is no rotten layer above that, underneath that. It's really, it's through and through that Einstellung of I'm okay with what is. I'm okay with that. It's more, for me, it's more that to not judge about what is. It's just that, okay, this is, that is, and it's okay. That's another thing for me, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for your question. Yeah, and thank you for holding the space for me to say that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. See you next week.
See you next week.
Nein, ich schalte es mal aus.